And we're on.
An elderly man lays in his hospital bed. He appears to be sleeping. He's been here for weeks now, way longer than his family or his friends or even his wife thought that he'd be there. Silently around him, they're talking, wondering what's going to happen and how will they know when he's passed on. This is a scene that happens way too often, and nobody seems to know what's going on. So today, I'm going to explain to you what happens when you're dying and how they determine when you actually die. That's a nine. Why are you here today? Could it be because you want to know what happens when you die? Or you want to know the process of dying so that you're prepared? Or how to handle it when you see a loved one going through changes that you don't understand? Maybe you're just curious. Today I'll explain what happens when you or a loved one is dying and how doctors determine that a person has passed on. Death is defined by the four following criteria by Harvard Medical School. In 1968, they posted a report that said, death is defined by the four following: total unresponsivity, total unawareness of external applied stimuli, even when painful, by vocal or other response, including groans or withdrawal of limb, quickening of respiration. No movements or breathing over a period of at least 1 hour. Artificial respiration has to be cut off to see whether any attempt at breathing would be made within a period of 3 minutes. No reflexes, the pupils fixed, dilated, and unresponsive to a light source. And flat echocardiogram for 24 hours with no measurable change. Some of that's confusing, so to better explain it, total unresponsivity means that the stimuli that the person would feel, a touch, a prick, a needle, anything of that nature, talking, sounds, none of that will affect them. They will show no signs that any of that has happened. The person isn't breathing and there's no heartbeat. We all know what that means. They have to stop CPR in order to see that this has actually happened. The pupils naturally dilate depending on the light that's in your eyes. If there's more light, your pupils get smaller. If there's less light, they get larger. If a light shined in your eyes, or in a person's eyes, and they continue to stay large, that means that death has happened. An echophilia is an X-ray of the brain. This is used to see if there's any kind of brain activity. Although it's not only a sign of death, it can be a sign of brain damage or being brain dead. This is something they use to make sure that a person has died. They'll scan the brain, and within 24 hours they'll do another scan. If there's no change, this is something they've used to determine that death has occurred. In the process of dying, a few things will happen. First is cease in digestion and elimination. A person's going to eat less and will eventually stop eating altogether. Therefore, they're not going to use the restroom at all. If there's nothing in you to come out, then nothing's going to come out. Systems begin to shut down and the body starts to shake. As your liver and your stomach shuts down, occasionally your body will have spasms that shows that your body is shut down. The eyes become glassy and they stare off into space. Usually this is when hallucinations occur. The last senses to go are hearing and feeling. Most people know this. That's why family members are encouraged to talk and touch a member that's passing on, because that's the only way they will know that you're there. The final step is when the heart stops beating and the body stops breathing and showing any signs of activity. All of these were brought from scienceway.com on the human biology and the death process. When a loved one's dying, don't be alarmed when you start to notice the body slowing down. It's all part of the natural process. Spend as much time talking and touching to them as possible so that you can get the feeling of being with them and comforting them in the last instances. They know you're there even if they can't respond. They'll know you're there. Watch the signs and follow the process. There's no way to stop death from happening once it has started. In most cases, it occurs within a very short period of time once you notice the signs of everything slowing down and shutting down and no longer talking or moving. They won't awaken. But enjoy your final moments with your loved one. Once they've passed on, seek out help from family, friends, support groups, or professionals to deal with your grief. Give yourself time to grieve, to reach each point so you can handle yourself and others. Don't rush the process. Unfortunately, everyone will die one day. By keeping a level head and knowing what to expect and knowing what's going on, you're more likely to be able to see it and to cope with it better, which will help you and everyone involved.
Mommy.